Well, welcome to the 700 Club. From defunding the UN Relief and Works Agency to speeding up arms sales, President Donald Trump has signed a host of executive orders strongly backing Israel.
Well, the president's foreign policy picks are also voicing their support for Israel's right to defend itself. Chris Mitchell reports from Jerusalem.
Trump's executive orders affecting Israel include revoking sanctions imposed by the Biden administration on a number of Israeli citizens in Judea and Samaria, restoring sanctions on the International Criminal Court, defunding UNRWA, authorizing deportation of visa holders involved in pro-Hamas protests, and lifting restrictions on arms sales to Israel, including the supply of 2,000-pound bombs. In his first hours in office, Trump questioned whether the days-old ceasefire between Hamas and Israel will last.
Oh, he has very good reason to be skeptical. This ceasefire hostage deal is almost certain to, at some point, collapse.
Jonathan Tobin of JNS.org told CBN's Gary Lane that while Trump's picks for his foreign policy team are pro-Israel, the deal undermines Israel's goal of defeating Hamas.
But Donald Trump, on the one hand, his administration, says they're against Hamas. They want to help Israel get rid of Hamas. But it is contradictory because this deal more or less guarantees that Hamas will take back control of most of Gaza because Israel is being forced to withdraw. It's as simple as that.
The Senate has already confirmed Marco Rubio as Secretary of State, who said Hamas can't remain in power in Gaza.
In the context of
On Tuesday, Elise Stefanik, Trump's pick for ambassador to the UN, testified at her confirmation hearing. Stefanik is well known for grilling university presidents who tolerated anti-Semitism on their campuses. She spoke out against funding for UNRWA.
We should never tolerate any U.S. taxpayer funds going towards terrorism. As in my question with the ranking member, Shaheen, I was one of the members that voted to defund UNRWA. I was one of the leaders in standing for that important appropriations vote, which there is a bipartisan consensus.
Stefanik also sees Judea and Samaria, also known as the West Bank, through a biblical lens.
This is the Israeli Finance Minister Smotrich and the former National Security Minister Ben-Gvir, who believe that Israel has a biblical right to the entire West Bank. And in that conversation, you told me that, yes, you shared that view. Is that your view today?
Yes.
With a ceasefire underway in Gaza, IDF Chief of Staff Halevi announced his resignation, citing his responsibility for the military's failure on October 7th. The head of the IDF Southern Command also stepped down, and it's expected more IDF leadership will leave their post in the near future. Meanwhile, violence continues against Israeli citizens. Tuesday in Tel Aviv, a U.S. green card holder in the country for just 3 days stabbed 4 Israelis. Many Israelis are concerned the hundreds of Palestinian prisoners to be released in the hostage deal will lead to a dramatic increase in terror attacks. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Well, the Bible says peace, peace, and there is no peace. And so you look at the peace deal with Hezbollah, how long will that last? The so-called peace deal with Hamas, if that means the withdrawal of Israel from Gaza and Hamas staying in power, is just an opportunity for them to reload. The good news, and this is wonderful news, our taxpayer dollars are no longer going to go to fund terror activities. And whether that's through UNRWA, where it's quite clear Hamas operatives, terrorists, were on their payroll. It's also quite clear that military aid to the Lebanese army went to Hezbollah. So it's wonderful that this is now going to finally stop. Let us also hope and pray that the ideology of wiping Israel off the map, and that's what this phrase means, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. It means no more Jews in the Holy Land, no more Israel. And can that ideology finally be defeated, and defeated very strongly at the UN, at the International Court, and especially in Israel? Well, the historic snowstorm that buried parts of the South is now blanketing the East. John Jessup has more on that story from our CBN News Bureau in Washington. John?
Thanks, Gordon. The Gulf Coast is digging out after a record amount of snow. The first ever blizzard warning was issued for Louisiana and Texas. New Orleans' French Quarter covered under 8 inches of snow. Up to 4 inches shut down roads in Houston. The storm dropping a white blanket across the south, all the way to northern Florida, overnight moving into the Carolinas and Virginia. About 80% of the country is experiencing extreme cold. Well, turning now to the wildfires in California, where strong winds are expected to continue into Thursday. But there's good news on the horizon, with the first rain in months forecast for this weekend. The small amount, less than 1/3 of an inch, though, might be enough to dampen the dry conditions that have helped fuel the fires. In the meantime, firefighters still have their hands full battling the flames. CBN's Paul Petit is in Los Angeles to show us how CBN's Operation Blessing is supporting the hardworking crews.
Strong winds are sparking brush fires once again in Los Angeles, placing over 10 million people under a critical fire threat. With red flag warnings expected to last through much of the week, firefighters need all the support they can get.
We work here 24 hours. Like, we get to work 6 in the morning, we won't go home till the next day. And then when fires like this happen, sometimes you're here for 5-6 days straight.
Station 81 served as the location of Operation Blessing's latest effort. With LA's mayor facing fierce criticism, cutting the fire department's budget, OB sought to help.
I'm like, what do you mean you can help us? No, we're good. We don't need anything. We've had so many like water, protein bars donated. Like, no, what can we do for the station? And we're not used to people asking, what can we do for the station?
They immediately told us, we actually need tools. Our tools are so outdated and we have used them so much and we need to replace them. And so we decided to go over to Home Depot and get them what they needed.
Operation Blessing also partnered with Youth with a Mission LA to help another station by putting together more than 100 first responder kits.
I hope they feel full of hope, and know that they are not alone, that they can have people behind them that are praying for them, that are supporting them spiritually and also materially.
We should be the hands and feet of Christ to those that are in pain or hurting. The Bible says to weep with those who weep and rejoice with those who rejoice, to mourn with those who mourn, and this is part of that.
When you're fighting a fire of this magnitude, you work long shifts, and there's no going back to the fire station for a full night's sleep before heading back out. No, sir. These brave firefighters are forced to sleep up in those hills next to an inferno.
So often they're just working so hard, and a lot of people don't really recognize the amount of work that goes into what they're doing. So I hope that this is just kind of a small, tangible thank you to them for the work that they put in over the last couple of weeks.
The Los Angeles fire chief says she's deployed all available resources across high-risk areas. And as long as that continues, Operation Blessing plans to offer available support.
We typically are the ones doing the supporting, so it's nice to have somebody appreciate you, like Operation Blessing coming in and helping out with stuff we're not used to. We're usually on the other side of giving it, so it's nice.
In Los Angeles, Paul Petit, CBN News.
It is so amazing to see, Gordon, that this devastation and suffering has galvanized so many volunteers to respond.
It's wonderful what happens when we all come together to say, yes, let's make a difference. Disaster can bring out the worst in people, but it can especially bring out the best. And all that you just saw in that report, if you're a member of the 700 Club, that's you in action. We love going to areas and not saying, well, here's what we're going to do for you. We ask the question, what really do you need? Can you tell us? And then we'll go and supply that. It's just part of the operational principles of Operation Blessing. You're a part of all of this when you join the 700 Club. If you're not a member or want to participate, all you have to do is pick up the phone and call us. 1-800-700-7000. Just say, I want to join the 700 Club. We're in the middle of our January telethon, and we have a lot of different club levels where you can join. You can join at 700 Club, which is $20 a month. 700 Club Gold is $40 a month. 1,000 Club, $1,000 a year. We have 2,500 Club, and we have Founder, $5,000 a year. Chairman Circle, $10,000 a year. And it's wonderful, the support that's coming in from across the country. Here from Newport, North Carolina, 2,500 Club members saying you can count on me, 4,200. Annapolis, Maryland, Operation Blessing, give $5,000. In Minong, Wisconsin, Chairman Circle, $10,000. Be a part of it. Join with us. 1-800-700-7000.